As I work with more and more parents of toddlers, so often I can hear the discouragement in their voice. This phase of parenting is pretty relentless and can be really exhausting and can leave many of us wondering, is it even worth it? What's the point of disciplining when they're so young? Nothing I do even seems to make a difference, and I'm tired. It is so much work to discipline a toddler. So give yourself a break. It makes sense why you'd be feeling this way. Maybe your toddler isn't communicating very much, and so you wonder if they're even learning anything or understanding anything. Maybe your toddler seems to have the same behaviors happening over and over and over again, no matter what you do, and so that can be discouraging. These are only a couple of the reasons why you might be feeling like there is no point to continue doing what you're doing, no light at the end of the tunnel. It's easy to want to give up, and so today I'm going to convince you not to. I'm even going to give you a few tips to help you keep your chin up in the process. So in order to understand why disciplining in the toddler stage is so super important, we need to learn a little bit more about what is happening in our toddler's brain. So listen to this. By the age of 3, a child has 1,000 trillion brain connections that have already been made, and that number is the most in their entire life, as these will get pruned later in development. Another interesting fact is that toddler brain development is a period of rapid growth and connection formation, with the brain doubling in size by the age of 3 and reaching about 90% of adult size by age 5. So during this period, the brain forms a massive number of neural connections, right? And a child's brain produces over 1 million neural connections every second, which is far more than at any other time in life. Their brain is developing so quickly. Now let's talk about a little bit why this matters. So when we talk about positive discipline, which is going to focus on nurturing and responsiveness, this helps toddlers grow a larger prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for emotional regulation, self-control, and problem solving. That is huge, you guys. When we are calm, when we're responsive, when we're using positive language, we are helping our child learn to recognize and express and manage their emotions. That's another huge part of their development. As we have those positive interactions with them and we're building a strong relationship with them, they are going to learn so many skills: empathy, communication, the ability to form healthy relationships. Another thing worth mentioning is that positive discipline does create a safe and supportive environment where your toddler can explore. They are not going to feel safe to learn and really develop appropriately all the cognitive skills, the motor skills. We want them to feel comfortable exploring and learning, and this comes through positive discipline. Also, our calm responses, our love that we're giving to them, that responsiveness really fosters a sense of security and trust. If you've heard of secure attachment is going to benefit your child for their entire life, and part of that comes from discipline. We also want to talk about how early experiences, especially positive ones, are going to shape the brain's architecture. It is laying the foundation for a lifelong learning, behavior, and health, because this is where we start. This young stage of life is where we start. Another thing is stress. We are helping them have a lower stress life by having positive discipline. Stress impacts us in every possible way, and we know that. So why would we think anything different for our child? If they are under a lot of stress because we're being inconsistent, because they have no boundaries, because they don't have expectations and rules and routines and all the things that we are providing them when we are disciplining our child, they are going to be living under more stress than is healthy for them. And so that's a huge benefit of our positive parenting and discipline. Let's talk about their confidence. When they know what to expect, when they have developed healthy, positive relationships with themselves, with you, with their peers, their siblings, because of that solid foundation, they are ready to be in the world and be a very functioning and happy individual. So, as you can see, there are a lot of really compelling reasons to be disciplining your toddler. It is totally worth it, right? Can we all agree that all those things are very relevant? Their brain development, the science behind that, their social emotional development, their stress levels. There are so many things that we just talked about of things that are actually happening. You might feel like nothing's happening. It's easy to feel that way. Well, they keep jumping on the couch every single time. No matter what I try, that's just not sinking in. Why am I talking to them till I'm blue in the face, trying to enforce this, and nothing's working? It's easy to feel that. Day after day, that kind of daily grind can really wear on us. So how can we keep showing up for them? How can we be encouraged through these difficult years to just keep showing up for them, keep doing our best? So there are a couple things that I want you to start telling yourself regularly. The first is, it's an investment. So not only will your child have a happier, more successful life, all those things we just talked about, but I firmly believe that you will have a happier, easier parenting experience as they get older. They will be more helpful. They will be more pleasant. Everything will feel easier. I look at my children who are now almost 11 years old, 8 years old, and 5 years old, and things just feel easy. And I know that might sound strange, but I just know that as we put in the time during those pretty grueling years, newborn to about age 5, it really pays off. They grow into what you are teaching them. And that's not to say they're perfect. That's not to say nothing ever comes up or happens. It's not to say we're creating these little robots that do anything we want. No, it just means you have created this relationship, this dynamic with your child, that they have learned to respect you, they have learned to listen to you, they've learned to trust you, and all those things go right back. I have learned to trust my child. I have learned to respect them. And it's a very mutual relationship that just works beautifully. And anywhere we go, any interaction we have around other people, people cannot help themselves but to say something about how impressed they are, about how well behaved the children are, about how wonderful it is to see such a happy, kind of functional family. And that's the payoff. So it is an investment. They might not seem like they're listening. It might seem like nothing is sinking in, and it is. Their brain is working on it, connections are being made, and it's going to manifest itself over time. So it's an investment. You're not going to see the payout right now. The other way of looking at this, or the other thing I would tell yourself is, I'm laying the foundation, or I'm laying the groundwork, right? So you picture a house. The foundation supports the house. It distributes the weight of the house evenly. It protects it from a lot of different things. That's what we're doing. So when our child is born, we are laying the foundation. In those first few years, we are laying the groundwork for the house that's being built, right? This child, this brain that's developing, however you want to see it, recognize that these few short years, it is a very small time frame. Even though it feels very long, it feels like it's taking forever, it's a very small little chunk of time that we have to really impact their brain development. And all these things that we mentioned at the beginning, we are laying the foundation for what will be a very successful future. Now, I want to share with you 2 different families. So I know these families personally, and you can probably picture the same. Picture a large family, I'd say 4 children or more, and so they have a wide range of ages, including a toddler. And what's so interesting is you look at their older children, and let's say maybe early teens down to, kind of young school age kids. You have one family. Everyone is well behaved. Everyone is respectful. It's clear that these parents have control over their kids. Everything is under control. There are expectations. There is that mutual respect. Those older children are poised and they're showing up in the world very functioning and healthy, and they are going to listen probably to any adult's direction because they have learned that. They are going to be respectful in listening to other people. They're not going to be grabbing for things or whining or complaining at 12 years old, let's say. And then you look at that family, how are they interacting with their toddler? And that's what you want to pay attention to. That is what has created this family dynamic. It starts early. It starts at the beginning. Those parents have control of their toddler. They're not just letting them run the show. They're not chasing their toddler around everywhere. Their toddler isn't really making a huge scene, usually, because they just know it's not going to get them what they want, right? That toddler even is acting very different than, picture this other family. Similar, 4 to 7 children, and all of them are a bit out of control, even up to the teenagers. These kids are not really respectful. They're not really helpful. They are not going to listen to what other adults are saying because they don't even listen to their parents, right? And you look down to that toddler, it starts here. Those parents are just chasing their toddler like a chicken with their head cut off. They are giving into the child's tantrums. They are just letting them run the show. And so that child is developing very differently than this other child. And it's just really interesting as you notice this visual representation of why these younger years matter. It matters because we are establishing what is appropriate. We are teaching them what's acceptable. They are learning from us, from our discipline or lack thereof, what they can get away with and how they should show up in the world. And it's very important for us to notice that does just follow the child and follow us throughout their life. It will manifest itself in different ways as they get older and older because of what we have done in these early years. Now, I don't want you to get too discouraged. It's never too late. You're never at a point of like, oh, I messed this up. Maybe you're watching this video and your child is 5 and you haven't done great with the discipline or whatever aspect, and so you're feeling pretty discouraged. If that's you, then make sure to check out this next video that will show you it is never too late. It's never too late to change our ways. It's never too late to start teaching our child something, even if they are a teenager. It is not too late. Keep up the good work, and I'll see you soon.